Squatting. So squatting is really important for everything, so our overall health. So we're not actually made to sit in chairs. So when we sit in chairs, and let's be honest, we all do it a fair bit, driving, at work, we're compressing the fascia all the way from our diaphragm to our knees because we're sitting in this locked position. So one of the really great ways to help improve releasing our fascia, getting proper mobility, is squatting. So when we squat, it actually forces the breath. So often we take shallow breaths. Give it a go. When you squat, the breath has to go down really deep. So when you're down and you're breathing, it's really hard to do shallow breathing. It goes all the way down to your lower back, opening up the hips and the diaphragm and allowing for that really deep breath. So, and of course, if we're getting deeper breaths, well, then we're getting more oxygen, we're getting more circulation, we're getting more blood flow. So, and that's for the whole body. If our hips are all constricted, it affects our pelvic floor, it affects our organs, everything's not sitting right. So when we're down in a squat, it allows the hips to open up and therefore activates the pelvic floor and actually pushes the organs into correct alignment. So squatting not only helps with your breathing and your organs, but mobility. If our hips are working properly, our hips are connected to our shoulders, so we're walking better, we're moving better, and we're even helping with landing. The body feels safe. So it's really important that you start to incorporate squatting. Some tips if you can't quite get down. So only a few months ago, I could only squat with my legs quite wide apart, turned out like that. Now, I can squat with my legs quite close together, and I can squat for longer periods of time. So, how did I get there? So, I practiced. And I still do this. I started squatting as soon as I get up in the morning. So the first thing I do after I go to the toilet is I squat. And I'll sit there, and I started off, I could only squat for a short amount of time. I can now sit there for quite a few minutes. I now work, doing stuff that I need to do on my phone for work. I do that all in a squat. The other thing, and I squat before I go to bed, and I try and incorporate squats throughout the day. If you can't quite get there yet, if you can't get down, doing a squat against a wall can be really helpful. So it gives a little bit of a different angle. It gives you a sense of safety. So you've got at least 3 points of contact being held by the wall, so your body feels safe just to let go. And because you're on this back angle, because when you squat down up, you're like that, but against the wall, you're like this. So it's just changing the hip angle, and generally most people can get down further. So try practicing it on the wall. I also mentioned safety. So when our body feels safe, it's more likely to release. So you can put something underneath your bottom, because then the body's feeling safe. It's got contact. It's not like, woohoo, what am I doing? So you can put something like this underneath your body and just sit there. So there's a couple of tips to help improve your squat. Like everything, it takes time. So just because you can't squat one day after you've started, it's a consistent practice. Keep at it and let me know how you go.